and welcome to This is Metal with Joe Lawson. Tonight, our special guest is Wade Black, the singer from Astronomica, which is a great new band. We're going to talk a lot about that, Wade. But before we get into the new band, you and I were chatting online as I was announcing that we were going to be interviewing you tonight. And I discovered that the last album you did with Crimson Glory just so happens to be called Astronomica. So that album must have a special place in your heart for you to be naming your new band after. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, at that particular time, I think I was like 33 years old, for crying out loud. I had never been in a real situation, a real band like that. Super challenging for me because I had to kind of regroup and kind of reteach myself how to sing and to sing better. And I mean, it was kind of a little stressful, for me being in a band that was that big,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, in the end. But I mean, what a fairy tale that band was.
Yeah, and 25
And
years later, as you look back on that album, what does it mean to you? I mean, again, you kind of have a 25 years to kind of have a little bit of a perspective on the album.
I think at the particular time that album was being released, there was a bunch of other records that were released at the same time. I think Metallica, Metal Church had a record out. Honestly, I think the stars were aligned. That record was just so stellar, so kind of like out in left field. Power metal, US power metal band, from Sarasota.
Yeah. Why don't you get in there, Joe? What do you want to ask Wade?
It really was a magical time, and that album to this day holds water. I mean, it stood the test of time. You talk about the reflective perspective on that, and you ask any Crimson Glory fan or anybody from that time era that's familiar with that album, and it is phenomenal. And that's one thing that I really respect about you, Wade, is that as soon as you hear your vocals, you know immediately that it's you. You not only are you a great singer, you have that thumbprint that is only you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I think at that particular time, everybody was on fire. I mean, the songs were there. John was playing great. Everybody was good. It was like a family. But sometimes within bands and stuff like that, it's kind of like sweet and sour candy, like I was telling you before. Sometimes you get the sweet, sometimes you get the sour.
Right.
But in the end, we created a piece of history.
Sure.
20, 25 years
Absolutely.
coming up. I figure since I sang on that record that, why not call the band Astronomica, and why not build a whole new record, which we've done, which I kind of almost think that it could have been the follow-up to Astronomica. The
Oh,
music
cool.
so what we're creating now, myself and my writing partner Rich Marks. I've got a couple other people that we're going to introduce, but we've been working the last couple of years on pulling this whole entire record together, the artwork together, everything. The logo, everything. We've got 11 songs that are just incredible, man. I mean, like really majestic, hooky, killer chorus. I mean, the whole ball of wax. We really were swinging hard for this one, so it's going to be
Yeah,
good,
That's
man.
exciting.
You guys are going to be impressed.
now let me ask you, Wade. Now, again, I'm talking about the fact that you're naming the new band after that album, Astronomica. I love the fact that you're not running from your past. You're not like some people do, like, oh yeah, that's what I did 25 years ago. Let's forget about that. Let's move on to something new. You're moving on to something new, but I love the fact that you're reminding, well, hey, this is what I did 25 years ago. Don't forget about that.
It's my fingerprint on the world. It was one of the biggest things that have ever happened to me in my entire life. A lot of my friends, got haircuts and went and got a real job. I never did. I went on tour and I made records and traveling back and forth. So, it was a super special time in my life. And I thank all of those guys within that band and stuff. You know, from here, from whatever they try to do or whatever, you know, they're a great bunch of guys, and they're a bunch of very talented musicians for
So
sure.
when you joined the band, were you allowed to come in and kind of put your stamp on the, when you performed the classic material, kind of your stamp on it, or were you told
Well,
like,
I did. I mean, I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to try to come in and emulate
yeah,
a little bit, but I mean, it's kind of hard to emulate what Midnight did,
sure,
you know.
sure, yeah,
Um, I think that I tried to capture as much feeling as I possibly could for the record.
yeah,
You know, for me, my background's a little bit more aggressive, power metal
sure,
vocals. You know, so that's what I end up bringing to the band was that heaviness. You know, that
yeah.
same heaviness and aggressiveness that I brought to Leatherwolf.
Oh,
You
sure.
know, so you know, without that, you know, and without a front man that has that distinction in his voice or whatever, I think that you're just going to get lumped in with 15 other bands that are
And
out there.
that's probably why the fans were so accepting of you. You weren't trying to sound like the guy that came before you. You just doing your own thing, and you know,
I did. I just let it fly. You
yeah.
know, I mean, I had the engines cranked up, you know, and we punched it, and we got a second gear chirp out of that some bitch, and we put together a really good record. You know.
And
That was
so you're,
awesome.
yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to ask, are you going to do any touring with the new band Astronomica? Is there any plans for that?
Absolutely. Um, just released just a little bit ago. Astronomica will be playing Up the Hammers Festival in Athens, Greece, coming up here in
Sweet.
March. So this is the 25th anniversary in Athens. You know, I talked with a bunch of kids over there and adults now, you know, about me coming back over after 25 years, you know, which is, you know, a huge accomplishment for this album to still be you know, relative within, you know, the circle of music that was put out at that time. You know, it's amazing that it's had the state power that
And
it
again,
has. You know,
again, we understand you're moving on with new music, but being that that's going to be the 25th anniversary when you do the festival, um, I assume some of these songs will be in the set. Have you ever thought about, especially being the anniversary, like playing it in its entirety or anything like that?
well, what we have done is we're going to do, of course, the nostalgia, because that's what everybody wants to hear.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're going to do some, you know, some older Crimson stuff. We're going to do couple songs, two, three songs off Astronomica. So I don't know what those
Sure, sure.
songs are going to be yet. And then we're going to go on ahead and we're going to throw in the new stuff, and we're going to mix it all together and put a set of music together that's going to blast people's heads off.
And when do you project that we'll get the first single or video? When do you think the first song might drop?
I know that we just recently got done recording the whole record. So recording for the new Astronomica record is done. It's being mixed right now, and then it's going to get sent off to a huge announcement that I will make when it's time to. That's
Yeah,
going over to Germany
yeah.
to some really good friends of mine that they're going to put the finishing touches and the cherry on top of the cake. Artwork is stellar. I mean, incredible. My guy Alex Yarborough that works at also KNAC out in California does artwork for Cage. He's done a bunch of different kinds of stuff. Just a super talented guy. So he's done the cover artwork for us, and it's just killer. It's just all coming together. You know, all the hard work and everything that we put into it for so long. You know, we're in it for the long haul.
Sure.
You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm in a band. I do this. I do that." You know, I've been around for quite a long time, you know, and had done this, you know, 10, 12 years before, you know, the Crimson stuff. So, um,
I mean,
you know,
let's go
you
down your list of credits. And aside from Astronomica, obviously the new band and Crimson Glory. Of course, you were in these other two little bands that people might have heard of. Seven Witches and Leatherwolf. So each one of those, I think, they've got a great little fan base of their own, and they're quite different. So I think that right there shows the vocal ability that you have, because those are all very different sounding bands.
They are, with the Leatherwolf, and I always loved that record because myself and Jeff Gayer put that whole record together. And as I was traveling out to LA, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never heard any of these songs before.
Yeah.
But once I got out there and I started recording the first couple of songs, I knew this record's going to be a total smash. I think we had #2 record in Germany. I think Devin Townsend beat us out by 0.5 points.
Wow. That's not too bad, not too
Yeah,
shabby.
Yeah, that was a
and
killer
then
album
with
too.
also with Astronomica record, we tied Dream Theater over there. But since it was in alphabetical order, Crimson Glory's over Dream Theater. So I asked Mike Portnoy about that. He said he had no comment.
Wow. Yeah. And I love the fact you're talking about the artwork on the album, because I'm an old school guy. I still love to hold a physical product in my hand. I remember the days, Wade, of going to a record store. Yes, there used to be these places, folks, where you could go and buy your music, and I would spend hours like picking up all the new releases. And just, I remember like first time I seen Kiss Destroyer, picking that up for the first time, and like, man, what the hell is this? I don't know, but it looks so cool. I have to have it,
Right. Is that the double record with the cat drum kit in the back?
No. That's the one where all four guys, they look like they're standing on top of the world.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Or even since this is a metal show, like Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. I'll never forget seeing that for the very first time and thinking, what the hell is this? Man, I gotta get this.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, man. But yeah, I tell you what, man, it's been a roller coaster, but we're about ready to pop back out again. We're about ready to pop back out in a big way.
Yeah.
I think it's really going to turn a lot of people's heads, and they're really going to say, to themselves, holy shit, they're back again, and they did it again, with the Frontier record that we did last year, the Chalice of Sin. It's just funny how these things kind of pop up, and once again, my writing partner and I, Rich Marks, wrote that whole entire record. All they did was send us music. Probably music that they sent to 10 other bands that could never do anything with it.
How do you feel like when you do those projects? Because I remember interviewing you for that, and it was a cool record. The only thing is, like, so many of those Frontier records, release a great product, but then because everybody else is busy doing their other bands and other projects, there's never any opportunity to like tour behind those projects. So
unless you're a signed band that's been with them for 15, 20 years, that they put money and production and everything behind and stuff, then we're just small fish in a big pond with that.
And so, Joe, I know you shared with me that you've followed Wade's career over the years, and you've been pretty much a fan of everything. How would you compare, like, as a fan, the stuff you did, for example, with Leatherwolf versus Seven Witches and Crimson Glory?
Well, for me, I like it all.
Yeah.
I like Wade's voice, and but probably my favorite is definitely Astronomica with Leatherwolf right there as a second close. The songwriting, the production, all of it is top notch. Yeah. Absolutely.
Incredible.
So Wade, I wanted to ask you also, who's in the band Astronomica with you?
I can't release that right now. We're still making some final adjustments of the last couple of members that are coming in. We do have a really super good guitar player that we're going to come have join us, that I'll be making some announcements soon, and the rest of the lineup for the band and stuff. But yeah, I wish that I had a budget, then I could have whoever I wanted come and play. So we're just trying to find people that we can rehearse with and stuff. I can't have somebody live in California come and join the band, and I mean just so we're trying to make it all work, and we've got some rehearsal time in with all of these songs and stuff. Everything's working absolutely perfect, all 8 cylinders. So you guys are going to be really impressed what we come up with.
I can't wait to hear it. I mean, that's why I was asking, like, when's the first single drop? But as far as the recording of this, I mean, I'm assuming you did it. You had a home studio, maybe in Florida. Or did you do it?
We've got Castle Black Studio here that we work out of in Mad Beach, Route 666 here
I like that. I like
in
that.
St. Pete. Yeah, it's a real Route 666. So yeah, it works out well. It's very comfortable. My wife built me a vocal booth and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
how cool is
good,
that?
good stuff. Always a good time here. Come dip in the pool, take a nap, drink some beer, come in, record some music and stuff. So it's always,
What's the metal scene like there in Florida where you're from?
it used to be good. It used to be good. There's a couple other places. If you go to Orlando or St. Pete, Tampa has a couple places that are left. But I mean, yeah, it used to be really good. Couple here and there.
The fact that you got the one festival booked, next March, all the way in Greece, and the record's not even out. I think that says it all right there as far as people wanting to see.
Right. Manolis, when I first started talking with him, I wanted to get the band in this year, and he was like, man, he was like, I can't get you in this year, but he said next year. I said 2024, and I was like, deal,
Yeah.
and he sent me a contract the next day, and it's written in the history books. But once again, that all comes down to the Crimson Glory record.
Sure, sure.
So, and once again, the Astronomica thing and the kind of flair that name has, that kind of sparks something within your memory, that you love, and these
Yeah,
people.
Crimson Glory is one of those bands that people like. If you're a fan of it, you're a fan of it. If you're a metal fan, most people have heard the name. I tell you, they really have a gift for turning out great singers. There's there's Todd Latour, of course, to go on to Queensryche.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tell you, man, Todd's an incredible singer, man. Absolutely. And he's been in that band for 10 years. I think I read an interview with him the other day, and he was like, man, you guys stop trying to say, that I'm not doing a good job. I've been in this band for 10 years. Leave me alone,
I gotta give him credit, his dues, because I'll tell you, me and Joe recently did a show on the latest Queensryche album, and I never really heard too much of what they did with Todd, but I was a fan mostly of original lineup. But to be honest, he's done such a great job.
Doesn't he though, dude? His songwriting and everything, to his solo records, the whip as well.
Yeah.
So he's super talented.
Myself and a lot of people forgot about Jeff Tate, and that's nothing against Jeff Tate. It's just that he's put his own stamp on Queensryche, but a lot of people forget he's a new singer.
I think that when that whole deal went down, that was really kind of crappy. The way that the whole thing went, and then Jeff tried to go out and do his thing and this and that, it's kind of, I don't know. I probably might have want to put a gag ball in my mouth or a piece of tape on my mouth and
I know where you're going with that. Yeah.
And not have said anything and just stayed in the bin, but things happen. And they moved on, and look at where they are now. They're still out touring. They're still out putting out records and stuff. So congratulations to Todd. He's a great guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey Wade, is there any chance that the Up the Hammers Festival show, you guys could record and get a live DVD of that, you think?
We'll probably do a live feed to that or something of that nature. There's going to be a lot of recording of that show, so I'll definitely have all of that, pictures and live video and stuff for sure.
Yeah, and again, I think the name is a great way to tie in what you did with Crimson Glory in that last album, and make people remember, hey, 25 years ago, this is what we were doing. And a lot of people are probably going to hear Astronomic, and they're going to think that's what it is, or Crimson Glory's gone back together.
Right. Isn't that funny? A lot of people will ask me that, and I'll tell them, it was a good choice to pick that name. I even asked Ben Jackson about it, and he goes, Wade, he goes, if anybody can do that, he goes, you can do it, because you sang on the record, you were the singer for Crimson Glory. Yeah. So, I'm one of only a handful of singers that were ever in that band, So
and like I was saying earlier, but one thing I've always respected about Wade, you've done all these projects, and you've gone from one band to another, and you never let it get you down. You just keep moving on and moving on to it. But I think maybe Astronomica, just because of the name and you as a talent as a singer, this is going to be like your thing from now on. I could see
I don't have to join anybody else's band anymore.
I don't 10 years from now talking about the latest Astronomica album. You know what I mean? It should be your thing. Yeah.
Right. It's a proud moment for us, and we've worked really hard for this, and I think some really good things are going to come out of it.
And I love the fact that, like you're saying, people are going to be, you're telling people this is kind of what maybe the next album would have been if we had stayed together. And
I
so
think so.
they don't have to have that question anymore,
Right. Well, we're going to set a lot of people straight. This record is that good. I'm just not on here, tooting my own horn and
Sure,
this and
sure.
that. This record is honestly that good, and it's really going to drop a lot of jaws.
Can you
Yeah.
give us a few song titles, Wade?
Oh God. We've got a song called Monsters that we do. It's about PTSD and the stuff that all the veterans and stuff go through. Um, kind of in depth a little bit, really killer, catchy, hooky chorus. We've got another song that my great grandfather was the head of Whitechapel
Oh,
in London when Jack the Ripper was doing all the murders. So this letter is called the Lusk Letter and the Letter from Hell. If you go online and you look at it, it's actually written in blood. Okay.
wow.
Wow.
Jack the Ripper sent this to my great uncle that was the head of Whitechapel and says, I send you a piece of this kidney
Wow.
because I cut the other piece out and I ate it. It was very tasty. And at the bottom of the letter, it says, catch me if you can. And it's signed Jack the Ripper at the bottom of it, written in this chick's blood. So you got to
Wow.
look at that's
How
another
cool is
one. It's
that? How
called the
metal is
Letter from
that, I
Hell.
should say?
And
Wow.
yeah. There's just a bunch of great stuff, guy. You guys are really going to be happy with this. You're going to be like, holy shit, man, you really been busy.
Yeah, maybe next time when you come on, you can bring on a couple of the guys from the band once you're able to name who's in the band. But
Yeah, absolutely, we can do that. There's a lot of great things that are happening,
yeah,
and we're just kind of taking it in stride.
sure,
You know,
sure.
try
Do
not
you
to
have
rush it. Say
a
again.
website or a label that's going to be releasing this, Wade, that you're going to
We're talking to people right now. We're actually in the works of putting up a .com and stuff. I think there is. If you go to Astronomica ROCK.com, there's some stuff that's up there right now. I think some clips of some songs and stuff.
We'll put
I don't
that
know
up.
whether you I don't know whether you guys seen the clips that we've been putting out so far, have you?
No, I have to check
You
that
No,
out.
haven't
I
seen
haven't.
you haven't seen any of those? This Facebook feed's all kind of weird and messed up and stuff. But at the end or whatever, I'll ship you over some songs, man.
Oh, great. That'll be
Cool.
fun.
Absolutely.
And now, wait, let me ask you because I was asking you before, when we first set up the interview, I wanted to go with you, like, who were your top five, like, all-time favorite metal singers who we'd say had the most influence on you?
Man. Growing up, I like Lou Graham a
Oh,
lot.
wow. Okay,
Was one of
former.
my most favorite singers.
Yeah,
I like all kind of stuff.
that's good.
The singer for REO Speedwagon
Interesting. Okay.
back in the day. I mean, of course, Rob Halford,
Yeah.
uh, Jeff Tate, Bruce Dickinson,
Yeah.
some of the today people that I think are really good. Kelly Sundown Carpenter, I think, is absolutely incredible. Of course, Sean Peck,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we'll throw Sean in there. Ralph Sheeper, there's a bunch of great singers that are
Sure.
out there.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. I mean,
But
you stated some obvious ones, but some that I think, oh wow, that's great that he kind of put those guys on his list.
right, absolutely, I like everything, as long as it's good.
I'm with you.
Because I
Yeah.
mean, you can listen to 10 bands and you
Sure.
can lump them all in the same thing, throw them in a box and throw them in the
I
corner.
mean, I'll be real
You
honest
know,
with you guys. Even though this is a metal show, and I typically listen to hard rock and metal, I do listen to stuff like Tom Petty, the Rolling Stones,
I love all that stuff. I love all, but
the
those are
Eagles.
great songs. Those are all great songs. So when you're writing a record,
Yeah,
you know, where are the songs? Where are the hooks? Where is it?
that's
So
the
this
that's the
is
point I was getting ready to make. That why would we listen to those songs? Why are they being played on the radio 40, 50 years later? Because the reason you just say they all have great memorable hooks,
right.
they stay in your mind.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think even like a metal guy listening to some of that stuff, not only does it make you a better singer, a better songwriter, because you're exposing yourself to different types of music.
After we've done these couple of records right here,
Yeah,
after this one right here, we've got so much experience and so much learning that we've done that
Yeah.
now we're on our top of our game. Like me, my harmony
Sure.
skills and stuff are like it's like it's stellar. You know, some of the stuff that we come up with, it's just like Jesus Lord. You listen to it back, almost brings a tear to your eye. You're like, fuck, man. You
Yeah,
know,
you know,
it's
I got to ask because you mentioned Sean Peck, and I know you're friends with him. I was curious, have you ever thought of like doing a duet or something with him?
I want to do a Bee Gees duet with
I
Sean.
would, wow,
Yeah, I
you
want to
know,
do staying. I want to do staying alive with me, him, and maybe Ripper.
yeah,
Absolutely.
you know, he's
That'd
a
be
guy
awesome.
that you could do that with because I don't know if you've seen, and in the interview he did with us, we talked about this. You could go on his YouTube page. He did a cool cover of the Eddie Murphy song "Party All the Time," and
My
I
girl
tell you,
wants a party all the time. I heard that. I heard that.
and I
I
tell you what,
love Sean. I love Sean to death. You know, when you talk to Sean, he's going in 10 different ways all the time. You know, you'll hear him one day, he'll be all excited, and then you hear him the next day, fuck the music business and this and that. You know, but he understands of anybody because he's one of the
he,
best people within this business. I'm just not blowing Sean
uh,
Peck up, but I'm saying he is truly a phenomenal human being. He's a very,
Yeah.
very beautiful bastard. The
and
son of a
forget
Something
bitch.
that
about
you
his
also
talent
have
as
in
a
common
singer
with
and a
him, Wade, is
musician.
that he worked
I
with
tell you,
Pete Black too.
Who's
I
that?
go ahead, Joe.
He also worked with Pete Black. He expressed his frustrations in one of his latest projects that he's been trying to get off the ground. And he mentioned Pete Black, and I know that in the past you also worked with Pete.
Yeah, I did a record called Disaster Piece with Pete. Um, Pete got deported
Okay.
back to Sweden. Pete took
Ah,
my record. He took it to Andy LaRocque. Andy LaRocque pieced it together, and they released it on some Swedish label over there.
Did you get the credit
cool.
you deserved at least, or you get paid for
Yeah,
it?
the fuck no, I didn't get anything. I
Wow.
was, I mean,
Oh,
you know, you like hijacked the whole fucking thing, yeah.
oh wow.
But Pete's Pete. You know what? God bless him. And I see him posting pictures up at King Diamond all the time, and that was his, you know, his bread and butter. You
Yeah.
know, his crescendo. So you know, God bless him, man. Whatever he does next, he's a great guitar player, great talent.
Well, I mean, you've definitely moved on to bigger and better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're on top of the world right now, guys, and there's so many good things that are happening for us right now. You know, we're going up and out into the fucking atmosphere and outer space, man.
And you know, I think you're so I can't stress it enough. I think you really made the right decision naming this Astronomica because this is going to be Wade Black's band from this point on. Forget
Isn't
about all
it?
these other projects. I mean, so much, and what you just talked about. I mean, you don't have to worry about putting together a record and somebody else getting you involved because of your status, you know, in the metal
Right.
community, and then ripping you off and releasing it somewhere else.
Right. Isn't it funny how that ends up going? But that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
You know, you got to stay on top of your stuff. You got to keep eyes in the back of your head because everybody's out to try to get you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I tell some of the people, you know, stop riding on my fucking coattails.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, go and try to get something sponged off somebody else. You
I mean, I
know,
was good enough
so
to get to sing on your record, right? But
right, right. I mean, you know, so you
yeah,
know, once again, God bless everybody
yeah.
that took time and invested time in me because look at where I am now. You know,
And let me ask you, the songs on the new album, are these all newly written songs, or these songs that have been laying around for a while?
these are brand new songs. I think one we grabbed that's kind of old-ish,
Yeah.
but the rest of them are all brand new, hot off the fucking press, man. Yeah, brand new songs.
Hey, Joe, why don't you interject here? Because before you came online, me and Wade were talking, and he was asking me about, you know, what you're doing musically. And I was explaining that, you know, your band's kind of, you know, there wasn't a lot of opportunity. So why don't you tell him about that?
I just retired from music altogether. You know, I do this; it's enjoyable, and I got really involved in martial arts, and that's what I do with what spare time I have left.
Well, good for you, man. You know, music's hard. It's like being in a marriage with everybody else. It's so hard to determine how, you know, you're gonna fucking walk on eggshells and stuff, talking to people and try not to make people mad and this and that. It's mine. I wrote this. I did that. You know, it's not
Yep.
like that. You know, it takes everybody within the band to make a band, correct? So this is what we're doing. We've got a great foundation. You're only as good as the people you're surrounded by, correct? So, you know, we've got a great foundation that we're building on. We've got a super strong record that's ready to come out. And you know, it's going to make people take notice. You know,
sure.
they might want to try to brush this off and this and that. But yeah, they're going to have to take notice of this one.
And again, I imagine, you know,
the lyrical content,
yeah.
is it on par with Astronomica, Wade? I mean,
it's way better, Joe. It's way better. The vocal content, the lyrical content is so killer, man. So dynamic. You know, it's really good. You'll be happy with it, man. Really happy. I'll shoot you guys some demo stuff.
Yeah, we'll just keep it between us. But
yeah.
Yeah, and let me ask you,
if you release it, I'll have to come over where you are, and I'll have to hunt you down.
Come through the computer screen, right? Well, anyways, it must be fun too to like not have to like get permission to do anything. Like you're the guy that makes all the calls, huh?
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, within the band, of course, you know, it's you know, everybody votes. Everybody votes on what we do. It's not just because I kick and scream, you know, that I get my way within the band. I mean, my band, you know, but it takes everybody in order to make it work. So why create that tension, that tyrannical tension?
Well, I get it. I guess what the point I was trying to make is it's different in the sense that when you were in, let's say, Leatherwolf or Crimson Glory, that's somebody else's band. So, you know, even when you write stuff, they tell you what ends up on the album. You know, you don't necessarily
they just take whatever you do. Like in Crimson Glory, that Astronomica riff that's on the record is mine. Yeah. So I came up with that. I sang it, you know, and yeah, that's my riff. And there's some more stuff that's on there. Not get in detail or whatever. That was me. That was my signature. What I brought to the table. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, Wade, we'd like to thank you for coming on today out of your busy schedule. I understand it's real late where you are, at about 9 o'clock something. So we're gonna let you go. But you know, when Joe and I started to kind of transition this show into what it's becoming now, doing it over Zoom and stuff, you were one of the first guests we decided we had to have, and I'm glad that we chose to have you on, and you're definitely welcome back. You know, anytime. I promise when that new album comes out, we're gonna have you back.
I appreciate it, guys. You know, we always have a metal heart. It's what we do. It's just not a hobby. It's a lifestyle for us. So it's always metal. I quote Rob Halford. You know, every time I scream, I'm killing pain.
And then we'll just end on this quote. And Wade Black always delivers the metal goods.
Nice. Deliver the goods.
Take care, my friends.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, brother.
Good talking,
Joey.